Hello and welcome to the Hypnosis Academy and the Peaceful Rebellion. This is a video that goes out to both channels. Today I'm going to talk about anchors. Not the anchors that you throw from a boat. No. Different anchors. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So anchors are something that have been developed for therapy. Okay, but where did they come from and what are they? Well, an anchor is any kind of stimulant, something that is a stimulant to you that creates a response. I'll give you an example of an anchor. Right, if you think about your mum's voice when she was telling you off and she would say a certain thing. For example, my mum, if I was doing something bad, she would say, "Our Gordon." And when I hear my mum's voice saying, "Our Gordon," it's like, ooh, right? It creates a response in us. The response is something that's outside of your conscious control, okay? We have this incredible word that's being used all over, used far too much, which is being triggered. Well, that really triggers me. What is it triggering? It's triggering a response in you because you have an anchor that triggers that response. So, I'll give you another example. Music is probably one of the best anchors ever. You put on a song or you hear a song and it can make you very happy. Certain songs make me want to dance. Just I hear them and I go, whoa, I want to dance. Okay, that's an anchor. That's a response that I get from the music. We have what are called hot buttons, where he really presses my button. What is he pressing? When he says a certain thing or when he looks at you in a certain way. It can be a look, it can be a touch, anything that creates kind of an emotional reaction inside. Okay, so we've got, our lives are riddled with anchors. We've got anchors everywhere. The phone rings at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock, and you feel frightened because you don't know what it is. That's a negative anchor that you've got attached to the phone ringing at that certain time. I'll tell you something else that's an anchor for people who use a phone a lot and they've got a little, like a sound, a bell that rings when a message comes through, okay? They hear the bell and they go, oh, a message, and they reach for the phone. That's an anchor. That comes from the work that was done by Pavlov, right? And before Pavlov, there was another man who did the work and Pavlov stole his work and then made himself famous. But what did he do? He rang a bell and then he fed the dogs. And then he rang the bell and fed the dogs. And he rang the bell and he fed the dogs. And after a while, all he needed to do was ring the bell and the dogs would begin to salivate. Why? Because he had anchored the idea of food with the bell. So that's what anchors are. So we can have good ones, like beautiful music, a touch from a loved one, a few words from a loved one, beautiful anchors. And then we can have awful anchors. Anchors where we are just triggered because something has happened. And so what we're going to do here, I'm going to show you a very, very beautiful technique. Okay, and I'd like you to do it with me. If you're watching this, you've got nothing to lose, you've got nothing better. If you're watching this, do it with me. Okay? And how we're going to do it is this. We're going to use a fist clench and probably use the fist that you don't use normally. So if you're right-handed, use your left. If you're left-handed, use your right. So what we're going to do is we're going to generate some really nice feelings and we're going to anchor the nice feelings with the clench of our fist. Okay? And what happens is this. If we do it enough, after a while, and we anchor these beautiful feelings and we've got our fist clenched as we feel these beautiful feelings, then all we need to do is clench our fist and we will feel the same feelings again. Right? It sounds unbelievable, but hey, that's all that we do is create anchors, good ones and bad ones. Okay, so we're going to create some good ones. So this is what we're going to do. Take a nice deep breath. And now I'd like you to think of a time when you were absolutely happy. Absolutely happy. It was just a moment. I want you to think of the moment. I've got the moment in my head when I was absolutely happy. Everything was beautiful. And I want you to think about that moment. And as you think about it, see what you were seeing. And as you see what you're seeing, I want you to hear what you were hearing. And then as you're hearing and seeing all of that, I want you to feel what you were feeling in that beautiful, peaceful moment. And as you do that, as you feel it, I just want you to clench your fist. Okay? And now, let's do it again. I want you to think of that moment, or you can think of another peaceful moment, another moment when you were so happy. But think of it, okay? And as you think of it, see what you were seeing, see it all, and as you're seeing that, hear what you were hearing. And then feel all of that happiness, feel all of that peace on the inside. And as you feel that, just clench your fist. And clench it in the same way each time. Okay, and now let's do that again. Go back to that memory, see what you're seeing, that beautiful, happy, peaceful memory. And as you see that, hear everything, get all the senses. What were you smelling? And as you see and hear and smell all of that, feel that happiness, that peacefulness, and then clench your fist. Okay, so now what we've got in our hand, unclench your fist by the way, what we've got in our hand is what's called an anchor. Now we've only done it 3 times. You can do this as many times as you like. You can layer lots of memories on the same thing. Okay, and you can make it stronger. The idea is you make it as strong as you can, but what we're going to do is we're going to test it out. So all I want you to do now is I want you to make that fist again, and as you make the fist, feel that beautiful feeling inside. Can you feel it? It's coming on with me beautifully. And I'm still seeing and I'm hearing and I'm there and I've got that beautiful feeling. Okay, unclench your fist. Okay, now we'll just test it one more time, okay? And we'll just add to it every time we test it. We're adding to it, okay? So when you're ready, I want you to clench your fist and feel those beautiful feelings. Whoa, they're getting stronger for me. You'll find it'll get stronger and stronger. That beautiful happiness. Oh, lovely. And I can feel it all here and I'm tingly. Okay, undo your fist. Right. So now this is what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to think about a situation that triggers you. Okay, it could be something that your spouse says, it could be something that your children say, it could be a situation, right? For example, I am going to use when I look up and I see those lines in the sky that upset me so much. Okay, right, so you think of a situation, something that you see, something you hear that makes you feel bad. And this is how we do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to imagine yourself in that situation. For example, I'll imagine myself going outside, looking up and seeing all of those things, and it makes me, okay? And then as you see it, and as soon as you start to feel it, in the instant that you feel anything negative, you're going to fire off your happiness anchor, okay? Now what happens? You end up piggybacking this reaction. So you look up, I'm using my thing as an example. I look up and I see that and my mind goes, oh dear, and then I feel. As soon as I sense that I'm going to feel, I fire off. And what happens is it replaces the feeling. Now, I've got a very negative feeling when I look up and see that. And I've got this really positive happiness feeling. And what happens is the two of them blend together. And so you can't feel what you used to feel, this negative feeling, because you've just fired off a positive feeling. Does that make sense? And what happens is the two of them neutralize themselves. Okay? So we'll do it 3 times. Okay? So what you're going to do is choose the thing that triggers you. Okay? Understand what you have to do, what you have to see, hear, and then what you're going to feel. All right? So let's do it. So I want you to get in touch with the thing that triggers you. All right, so I'm doing it now. And then fire off your anchor as you're looking. Ooh. And you'll notice that you feel it's like, whoa, but I'm feeling really happy. Okay. And then stop. Okay. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to think of the thing that triggered us. All right, so I look up, yeah. And then fire off your anchor and wow, and I'm feeling really happy. That's nice. Okay. Now, if you're doing that with me, now comes the acid test, which is, I want you now in a moment, not yet, you're going to imagine that old thing that used to trigger you, and you're not going to do your hand because you've already programmed your mind. You've told the mind what feeling you want. You're going to imagine it, and then you're going to notice what you feel. So I'll do that now. So imagine it and then just notice what you feel. There you are. I've got a completely different feeling. I'm tingly all over. So that's changed. Now, how did it work for you? Did you notice a difference? Sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have the intensity of this beautiful feeling. But what happens is often the two get neutralized. So you kind of just feel sometimes like, boy, what was the big deal? Yeah, I'll just test it again. That's how I feel, kind of like, well, I feel okay, I feel good. Right, so what's the way that we can utilize this? Will this be forever? No, not, because we create anchors and we overwrite anchors all of the time. So it's something that you can use which will help you, but the way that you actually make it work for you is to reinforce it. And if you notice yourself feeling bad, if you notice yourself being triggered, you just do this process. Let's go back to a happy time. Now I'll think about the thing that's triggering me and I'll fire this off and I'll feel okay. And it will work. It will work for a period of time. And then it'll go back because we create anchors all the time. Yeah. But it's a brilliant tool if you are feeling triggered and it makes you unresourceful. Get yourself into a resourceful state. People who are fearful of public speaking, you can use this technique. You imagine this total confidence when you are totally confident and you make this fist up, totally confident. Yeah. You've got this great anchor, and then you think about your public speaking, and as soon as you nearly start feeling, it's like right at the beginning where you're nearly feeling. You just fire it off and you imagine yourself speaking and you feel confident and wonderful. Okay? Once you've done that, you've trained your mind. I want to feel this with this stimulus. And then you do. Okay? It's a beautiful technique. I learned this when I was doing NLP. It blew me away. The only issue was I thought that it lasted forever. And I was disappointed when I noticed I was being triggered again. That's because we can overwrite. Our minds are computers. We completely can overwrite anything all of the time. And so all that you've got now is a technique that you can put right bad anchors, negative anchors they're called, and replace it with a positive anchor. I hope that helps. If you've got any questions about the process or any comments, please put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. I love you all. See you all later.